How you guys doing? So, we have some crypto news to talk about before we get into the technical analysis. And, before I get started, if you like the stream, please hit that bell. Please like and subscribe. After we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to start live streaming to add on to our two videos a day. And I'm real excited for that. So, to get back to the news, we know Bitcoin hit about $10,990. We had about a $200 bounce, and then we kind of had a news break. I'm not going to get into politics or anything like that, but Donald Trump had a tweet on Twitter saying, and this is all verbatim, so you can check on Twitter. It says, "I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are nut money and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air. Unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and other illegal activity." He had another comment below it, stating that wow, that's not English. Similarly, maybe it's just me. Facebook's Libra virtual currency will have little standing or dependability. If Facebook and other companies want to become a bank, they must seek a new banking charter and become subject to all banking regulations, just like other banks, both national. So, Bitcoin had a bounce after that news came out. So, it was pretty shocking to see Trump finally come out with a position. So, this isn't going to be about the politics side of it, but I'm really curious to see what happens because, Facebook, I know there was a lot of hype. Bitcoin took a pretty good jump after that news came out, and it's relevant news and it's something you should know about. So getting back onto the crypto technical analysis, we're actually testing our support level at 11,200 right now. We did hit a high of almost 11,500 and we rejected multiple times. Something I'm watching out for is on the short-term time frames on Bitcoin. Granted, this is market cipher. We're showing bullish divergence and I'm watching it slowly leak into the longer time frames. So I have, this is not financial advice. This is simply my opinion and what I think is going to happen with the market. And I'm trying to give you the tools so you know what to do when I'm not here, when it comes to finding support levels and how I come up with those. So, we're testing that final support at 11,200. After that, your next support level will be roughly the 10,800 area, and after that, if we break that, we'll have a pretty decent gap down. But getting back to these divergences, they're slowly leaking into the longer time frames. I've watched it go from the 1 minute all the way to the 1 hour, and if we go to the 2 hour here on this divergence, it is just barely looking bullish. So we are slowly leaking into the longer time frames and seeing that the money flow is leveled out. We're near the bottom. I have a feeling we could have maybe one little dip left. I have this hunch that, remember before when we were just above 11,000 and we went and touched 10,800-ish, maybe a time or two, had a nice little trap for the bears, and then we rocketed back up? I really would not be shocked to see that again. We're building bullish divergence on market cipher, so I'm really curious to see how this plays out. So to recap Bitcoin for you, you're going to have support at 11,200. You'll have another one at roughly about 10,800. Your last stand will be at roughly 10,300, maybe the 10,200 area. As you can see how we have a few touch points, but then you'll have your psychological, your 10,000 support. But if that breaks, we can pretty much expect to test to the 618 fib retracement, which is about 9,800. And now let's say we bounce here. Let's say this bullish divergence plays out and we go to the upside. Your first level we got to break is 11,500, and then your next level is going to be roughly about 10,800. And if we break 10,800, I would fully expect us to test the 12,200, which was prior support that we tested actually last night, that before we ended up failing. to the downside. So that pretty much sums up Bitcoin there. And I'm going to switch up the order here. We're going to actually look up XRP here. I'm going to look up the USD tether chart. I know we have a whole bunch of XRP fans in the crypto community. And I'm also going to start doing some private videos. I mean, not like, you know, a private channel, but I guess private's the wrong word. I'm going to do a specific analysis on these coins. So you can expect also, you know, when there, especially if there's an altcoin that's separated from the market, I'll do some analysis on those for, you know, to add a static video. So on XRP, I'm actually going to look at the USD tether. I don't know why I keep clicking the Bitcoin. So on XRP, we're holding up its support levels at roughly 32 cents. You're going to have your psychological 30-cent support, but if that breaks, we're probably going to test the bottom of this channel before I'm going to have to refib to lower levels, and that's going to be at roughly 29 cents. So you're going to have support, you know, in my opinion, at 32 cents. You'll have your psychological 30-cent mark, which is right here, and your next one will be just about under it, where we have all these touch points right above 29 cents. Now let's say we break up to the upside, because it's looking like Bitcoin right now. The bullish divergence is leaking into the longer time frames. You can expect the first resistance level to be the 35 and 36 area, which will be staunch resistance. That goes back at least until the beginning of May. So I really don't want to look at the upside too much until we break the 35, 36 cent area. It's going to be very, very hard for XRP to break that. But let's say we do. Say we break that 35 to 36 area. Your next level of resistance will be 38 cents, and then your psychological 40-cent mark right there. So we're gonna go to Ethereum, and on this stream, just because looks like Bitcoin's moving here, not much has changed on Tron right now. So I really don't want to do analysis on Tron. We are really in price discovery mode, and I don't want to give anyone a false sense of security. You know, you're really catching a falling knife on Tron right now. Whenever we start finding a bottom, you know, I'll pick up the analysis back on it again. But if Bitcoin drops like a rock tonight, you know, or even honestly, if Bitcoin goes through the roof, these altcoins have been getting devalued. There really hasn't been a altcoin season whatsoever, you know, except maybe Chainlink and a few other rare coins. So on Ethereum, we're sitting right above temporary support, which is right about, let's see, and actually it's about $268. But we are literally just above it right now. And your next support level is going to be about that $260 area. And if we fall, I mean, you can expect the $250 psychological number. It's a whole number. So, but I don't want to speculate too much to the downside until I get confirmation on how we're going to react at this level. But you can expect your support levels to be at 260, 268, and then your first level of resistance is going to be $280, and then our support level that we had earlier, you know, since honestly about the 27th of June, we will have that at roughly about $284, with your next resistance point being at about $300. So I'm going to get some music here. I apologize if there's a preview. Oh, looks like I'm going to get one.
Just want to remind you.
Of course, it's Ty Lopez.
1 day left.
Shocker, right?
Best thing I've ever done. Sure.
All right, so back onto the analysis. I just want to sum up Ethereum real quick. You're going to have your support levels at 260, 268, and your first resistance levels are going to be 280, 284, and then our psychological 300 number, with the optimal target being 320. But I want to get too optimistic on that until, you know, we actually get a change of course. All right, we're looking good there. All right, so on Litecoin here, this is our newly added coin to the stream. All right, so Litecoin's holding up at support. Your first support level is going to be about $96. If we zoom out here, it's actually go to the 4 hour. Okay, so I have it drawn out. So your first level is going to be about $96 in my opinion. You can see where we have touch points there, touch points here, and we have these groups where we came back. You can see, let me actually remove market cipher here. We came up and tested it multiple times and failed, and we have these touch points. So that tells me this is going to be a line of support. So it was resistance, now it's support. So your first support line is going to be roughly $96. And then your next level is going to be roughly about that $84, $85 area, with your first resistance points being at your, well, you're going to have the psychological $100 mark. Actually, we're sitting right above it. So your first resistance line is going to be roughly about $105. And then you can see where we have these touch points. It doesn't look too strong though. So if we get some volume, we can easily break that, with your next resistance point being at about that $110, $112 area. Actually, I need to turn that red because it's no longer support. So just to sum this up real quick, you have your support at 95, 96. I'm going to say 96. Your first level of resistance is going to be 105. The $112 area. And then we have this area right up here where we can tell where we have, you know, even if you can follow the dotted lines where that red line would continue, you're looking about that 115, 116 area. And, you know, this one isn't really too relevant. I'm honestly just going to delete it until, you know, we start getting some momentum and I need to draw it back. So that pretty much sums up today's stream. Just be careful tonight. I don't really like... You know, I was kind of feeling a little bit bearish earlier today, and then that Trump news came out, and I just remember that China news where we had that initial large jump or dump back in 2017. We went from, I think we pierced $10,000, went all the way back to $6,000, and then as we all know, we hit $20,000. Bitcoin has a very, very odd way of reacting to negative news. So, I mean, we're still in a bear market, and I'm still watching the... I'm still watching that parabolic line that we broke earlier today. You know, we've talked about it for the last couple days. You know, I'm really curious to see how this line holds up. I've watched a couple other streams and some people still have us in this line, but I really don't understand how, considering, you know, I have this being a very, very tight circle. You can see where we have all these touch points here, here, here. Came down, even respected it, didn't even have to touch it, but we respected it here. So, you know, but as you can see on the 2 hour here, just to do a small little recap on Bitcoin, I mean, we are kind of showing bullish divergence here. If we go to the 4 hour, you know, we're slowly moving up. All the time frames are showing bullish divergence. So I feel like this might be the final trap for bears. Now, like I said, this is not financial advice. You know, I'm just trying to help you to, you know, give you an idea of how to gauge these lines, how I come up with them, so when I'm not here, you have an idea of how to do these yourself. You know, this stream's all about, you know, progressing yourself as a person and as a trader. So, you know, we're slowly leaking into these time frames right now. So, the longer time frames are turning bullish here. All the time frames have been bearish today, but as we've been slowly going through the day, especially from that bounce from 10.9 earlier today, we seem to be popping bullish. But, you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just be patient. That's part of being a trader, and let the market come to us. All right, guys. That pretty much sums up the stream tonight. If you enjoyed today's content, please hit that like, hit that bell, and please subscribe. Really trying to build that subscriber number up. I'm excited to get to 100 subscribers and start live streaming. I became an official Bybit affiliate. I guess it would have been yesterday. So, you know, I'm not going to shill that to you guys, but it's just exciting, you know, you know, Bybit is a really awesome exchange. They're really trying to grow their community. It's an awesome exchange. I have a full tutorial on it. I've actually thought about maybe redoing my tutorial since I fixed my audio. But, you know, if you put the audio to aside, because it was one of my earlier videos, it really is an amazing exchange. So, but I don't want to keep on talking. So, have a good night, guys, and I will see you tomorrow morning. You can expect a video. I start my streams. I start streaming roughly about 15 minutes before basically I guess it would be my 11 o'clock Eastern time, morning shift. But I noticed, I don't know if YouTube had an earlier update or whatnot, but the my update this morning to like load the video to YouTube, it took almost 45 minutes today. It usually only takes like 15 minutes. So, but I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a good night.